My Hero Academia Season 5 Episode 7 is out, and with this new episode, we jump right into the third fight of the bashful bout between Class 1A and Class 1B. This time, it's Team Todoroki, or Team Iida, depending on who you view as best boy, versus Team Tetsutetsu Tetsutetsu. It's gonna be one manly fight. This episode, like its predecessor, covers 2 chapters from the My Hero manga, following the events of chapter 202 and 203. So, without further ado, let's jump right into My Hero Academia Season 5 Episode 7, titled Match 3. And as usual, don't forget to Detroit smash that like button and slide into that subscribe button's DMs to hit that notification bell. This episode opens up with the aftermath of Team Momo's defeat at the hands of Team Kendo. As it turns out, Team Kendo may have been a bit excessive with their damage control and accidentally destroyed the entire arena. I mean, what did you expect when you got this guy whipping out words the size of buildings? Having to change the destination of the fights because of the carnage, Eraserhead and Vlad King decide that it would be an optimal time to take a break. And so, the 2 classes get a nice breather before the upcoming third match in the joint training session. During this interim, Deku fanboys and takes notes on his classmates' moves. Monoma is, well, Monoma taunting a Class 1A over Class 1B's most recent victory, and something I really liked was seeing the students who had already competed from both classes talking to one another. It's awesome to see Class 1A and 1B share a sense of camaraderie like this. They aren't enemies, they are both classes full of heroes in training. So seeing them actually communicate and hang out is a nice change of pace that I hope we get to see more scenes of, even if they aren't all that long. While all this is going on, All Might calls over Midoriya, and the 2 discuss the recent happenings of One for All. All Might says he is going to get in contact with Old Man Gran Torino to find out if he knows anything about the first user talking about the singularity. And All Might also warns Midoriya to be careful in his matchup against Shinzo, as the very first time he saw the vestiges was when they both last faced off. Ominous. Bakugo, overhearing this conversation and, well, being Bakugo, shouts at the 2 giving out about 1, hiding their talking about One for All from him, and 2, doing it so horribly. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Bakugo yelling at the 2 like he is scolding children gives me real Aizawa teacher vibes. Could this series end with Bakugo becoming a teacher in UA? Let's hope for the sake of the next generation that he doesn't. This conversation ends, and it then cuts to the next match in the lineup. Match 3, Team Todoroki versus Team Tetsutetsu 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 Tetsutetsu.
Oh god, no, he's broken!
Before Todoroki heads off to the fight, however, he gets pulled aside by Tokoyami, who apologizes for his failure in his fight and tells Todoroki the rest is up to you. Tokoyami tells Todoroki this because they are the 2 students who worked with the top 2 heroes, Hawks and Endeavor, and as such, they have to hold up their mentor's honor. Hearing these words, Todoroki thinks about the time his loving mentor beat him as a child. It's really hard to get people to like you, Endeavor, when they keep showing stuff like this. During this flashback, we get some interesting information. At the time, Endeavor was trying to teach Shoto his ultimate move, and he had full belief that even at that young age, Shoto could pull it off. But the real interesting side of this is when Endeavor mentions Shoto's eldest sibling, Toya. Endeavor says Toya was close. He had more firepower than me, but he had Rei's weak constitution. Now, there are a couple of things you can take from this, but the main thing is, it shows that Shoto isn't the only Todoroki child who has gone through this training. As the flashback fades out, Endeavor's words echo in Todoroki's mind. You can fulfill my ambition. While reflecting on these words, Todoroki is brought back to reality by Iida, who notices that something is up with his classmate. Now, Ojiro questions how Iida knew something was up with Todoroki because he always maintains the same expression, and Iida spits out something about how he's the class rep and he needs to know when something is up with all of his classmates. But I don't really buy it. I think Iida knew something was up because they are bros. After the Stain fight, they have been best bros for life. Ride together, die together. Iida then mentions that he is in a good mood because his brother is doing well in his recovery, and he says the line, "I'll show everyone the strong spirit of a successor." Now, I really like this moment because it shows the parallels between Todoroki and Iida. Both students come from a heroic family, and both of them are successors in their own right. Shoto Shoto to Endeavor and Tenya to Tensei. But the difference is, while Todoroki is doubting his legacy, letting it get into his head and distracting him, Iida is taking his in his stride, using it to motivate himself. This difference can be seen in this scene alone by just the two characters' moods. Iida all pumped up and ready to go, while Todoroki is daydreaming. Now obviously their upbringings are vastly different, and that has a major impact on how they view their heritage. But it's an interesting point nonetheless. After we see Team Todoroki, it then cuts back over to Team Tetsutetsu, and they are far less composed than their opposition. Tetsutetsu is destroying the arena, going against the exact thing Vlad gave out to Kendo and Manga for doing in the last match. Senkaibara is losing his mind, Pony is speaking English, and Juzo is just chilling. There is most certainly a stark contrast between the two teams. Team Todoroki, seeing Tetsutetsu's destruction in the distance, immediately gives away the opposing team's position, and as the match starts, Team Todoroki rush off to face their competitors. But before we can see this conflict, the story cuts away to Endeavor, who is dealing with a rollerblade villain. And Cementos' child is here for some reason too. After making quick work of the baddie, Endeavor looks at his phone where it's revealed that thanks to Fuyumi, Shoto finally added his dear old papa as a friend. Thank God we cleared that plotline up. Now that Shoto has become his own person, Endeavor wants to teach him how to use his ultimate move, except this time he wants to teach him the right way. But just like in person, Shoto is completely ignoring his father's requests. And it's here where the most evil thing about Endeavor is revealed. He doesn't double text, he doesn't triple text, he doesn't even quadruple text. He sextuple texts. Pure evil. The story then hops back on over to match 3, where Team Todoroki have begun their assault on Team Tetsutetsu by letting Todoroki do his thing with his ice. Team Todoroki have set a plan in motion to swiftly take down their opponents in one foul swoop. However, this plan gets torn apart by the man who got into UA through recommendation, Juzo, who, using his quirk Softening, which allows him to soften anything he touches, freed his classmates from Todoroki's ice attack and ruined Iida and Ojiro's attack from the sides. With Team Todoroki's initial plan ruined, Team Tetsutetsu makes their move. Senkaibara uses his quirk Gyrate, which allows him to rotate any of his body parts like a drill, and attacks Ojiro. Iida gets trapped by Juzo, who softened Todoroki's ice, causing Iida to sink and then unsoftened it to keep him in place. Shoji gets separated from the group by Pony, who also uses her quirk Horn Cannon, which allows her to shoot and control the horns off her head to propel Tetsutetsu towards Todoroki, who breaks through the ice and begins his full frontal assault on the hero. With Team Todoroki's plan dismantled and the members separated almost immediately, Team Tetsutetsu seem to have a major upper hand. But as Juzo thinks he is dealt with Iida fully capturing him in ice, Mr. Zoom Zoom Boy himself pulls out his secret new super move. As it turns out, there's an old Iida family secret that the family used to increase their speed and reduce their fuel consumption, which allows them to use their reciprocal burst for far longer. And before this tournament began, Tensei thought it was high time to show his young successor this technique. And so Iida, using his new and improved reciprocal burst, breaks out of his ice prison, and the episode ends with Iida charging towards Juzo, revealing that instead of only using reciprocal for 10 seconds, he can now use the super move for 10 minutes. Now that's an improvement. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It contained a lot of foreshadowing for events that I'm really looking forward to seeing animated both in the next couple of episodes and a bit further down the line. It's about time we get to see Iida back in action, because I'm pretty sure the last time we've seen him really fight someone was the Stain arc. So it's great to see this OG character finally get the spotlight again. As for Todoroki, he's definitely got a big part to play in the next episode, and boy oh boy is it gonna be spectacular. But let me know what you thought of this episode. If you liked this video, don't forget to leave a like. For more My Hero content, subscribe to the Lunchtime crew. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Plus Ultra.